Good evening. We're glad you could join us. Of all the complimentary information you have about the Port Harcourt refinery, there is one that is fresh and unprecedented and continentally trailblazing in nature. Gas, the beautiful bride of the industry, has a double dose feature, the product side and the CSR side. Royalty came to the towers as it were within the week, and the subject matter is unguessable. You have to wait for the details. Plus, it's sporting time and golfing time as the 2019 NNPC GMD's Pro Am Golf Tournament tees off. And Dr. Barrow is calling on the workforce to get busy with sports to enhance productivity and healthy lifestyle. We got details of all these stories. The segments are also refreshingly exciting. I'm Akin Agbejule. This is Oil and Gas Forum.
NNPC is done very well around the country. I think we seem to forget, the kind of shortages we have with petroleum products. You have them very often now. You don't have them. Look at the funding that we have attracted for, AKK. Look at the investment decision that is being taken around the LNGs.
John, what is this? This is oil well. Oil well? This is what the Ghanaians called black gold. There is plenty money in this business. By this time tomorrow, I'm going to buy a brand new jeep. Next month, I'm going to buy a whole house. Yes.
You need to show me the way.
Show us the way. You mean you want to be rich? Oh yes. You want to level up? Oh yes. You see, the ones there, let's go and pack it. And after that, I will take you there. Let's go.
Hello? Okay. So, sir, these people have started their operation again. I beg, send me 5 battalion FG guys. Thank you, sir. So, sir,
You can buy everything you want to buy.
I will buy it. You are under arrest. Your hand on your head. If you move, I'll move you. Let me warn you all. Anybody or community that is involved in vandalization of our oil pipeline will face the wrath of the law.
NNPC, we touch your lives in many positive ways.
Welcome to the highlights. Port Harcourt Refinery bags Africa's first ISO 9001 2015 certification. NNPC assures of commitment to gas development. Product availability is about one thing, availability, but it means different things to different communities across the nation. Let's see how the Ezeokwe Kingdom of Ibongwe Nike in Enugu State responds to it, and the Ijomi community of Delta State are also responding to a fully equipped basic health center, courtesy of the Gas Masters. Dr. Barrow directs NNPC staff to engage in sporting activities. NNPC ongoing recruitment exercise enters second phase. It's all about the details.
The Federal Executive Council, FEC, has approved contract worth 1.4 billion naira for the design of the headquarters of the Department of Petroleum Resources, DPR, in Abuja. Speaking with journalists after the FEC meeting chaired by President Muhammadu Buhari, Dr. Ibeka Chukwu, Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, said the contract was awarded to Messrs. Artec Practice Limited to design a 12-floor building at a plot which has already been allocated to the DPR by the authorities of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT. Dr. Kachiku said the DPR was the regulatory and supervisory arm of the Ministry of Petroleum, adding that it was relevant in respect of income generation. The department's headquarters is currently based in Lagos.
The total projected potential cost for the building when it is done is about 35 billion. So if you look at that as a percentage of the work, it's absolutely insignificant, and in international terms will be very, very justifiable. It's less than 2%.
Port Harcourt Refining Company Limited, PHRC, a subsidiary of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, has attained the International Organization for Standardization ISO 9001 2015 Quality Management Systems certification the first by any refinery on the African continent. Mr. Richard O'Malley, Managing Director of 3FM Solutions, a management consulting company whose outfit conducted the QMS assessment, announced the milestone during a town hall meeting of the NNPC Group Managing Director, Dr. Mekanti Barrow, with the refinery staff recently in Port Harcourt.
Port Harcourt Refinery became the first refinery actually in Africa to have ISO 9001-2015 certification.
Responding, the GMD congratulated staff on the feat, even as it charged other NNPC subsidiaries to emulate the refinery by assuring that they are up to date in their respective certifications in line with global standards.
I also implore you to take every step to ensure that you remain certified, because the ISO certification, you can lose it if you go back to your old ways.
The impact of PHRC's latest certification meant that the company had to keep going through various audits by Bureau Veritas BV to ensure that its quality management system was reviewed and standardized based on the streamlined process and improvement plans.
The Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, Dr. Mekanti Barrow, has said that the enormous natural gas reserves in Africa is capable of unlocking the huge natural resource potentials such as gold, diamond, iron ore and steel in the continent to enable a wide range of industrial clusters built around petrochemical, manufacturing, agribusiness and fertilizer production. Dr. Barrow disclosed this while delivering the 36th monthly gas lecture held at the headquarters of the Gas Exporting Countries Forum, GECF, in Doha, Qatar. The NNPC GMD, who was represented at the occasion by NNPC Chief Operating Officer, Gas and Power, Engineer Said Mohammed, spoke on the theme Natural Gas, Catalyst for Africa's Economic Development and Integration. The delegation also included Nigeria's country representative to the GECF, Mr. Bala Wunti. Dr. Barrow said Africa's huge gas reserves currently stood at about 614 trillion cubic feet, even as Nigeria had the continent's largest reserves with 199 trillion cubic feet, Algeria 159 trillion cubic feet, and Mozambique 100 trillion cubic feet, occupying the second and third positions respectively.
The Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation NNPC, Dr. Mekanti Barrow, has expressed the corporation's commitment to support any project that would encourage production and utilization of natural gas for the benefit of the nation. Disclosing this at the signing ceremony of the Nigeria Liquefied Natural Gas Limited NLNG Train 7, Nigerian Content Plan in Abuja, Dr. Barrow, who was represented at the occasion by the Chief Operating Officer, COO Gas and Power, Engineer Said Mohammed, said the signing ceremony was important as one of the major processes to bring the gas project on board.
For us in NNPC, we look at it on many angles. We look at it as launching not only the Nigerian content development grids, not only the promotion of LNG to a higher level by adding another train, but most importantly, the monetizing of this our great resource, natural gas.
Earlier in his address, LLNG Managing Director CEO Engineer Tony Atta expressed gratitude to the management of the NNPC for its roles in seeing the project to this critical stage.
It's essentially about building capacity in Nigeria, but building capability in our people, and ultimately helping to get participation in the overall value network, which is beyond the value chain that most people would limit themselves to.
Speaking in the same vein, Engineer Simbi Wabote, NCDMB Executive Secretary, said that NNPC's presence at the signing ceremony was an indication of the corporation's commitment to ensuring that the Train 7 project gets to the final investment decision FID this year as projected.
Let me congratulate the NLNG shareholders, NNPC, Shell, Total and ENI on the achievement of this key milestone.
When the NNPC says we touch your lives in many positive ways, it is living up to that and its reputation as a corporation that aims to promote academic excellence among secondary school students in Nigeria.
NNPC, we touch your lives in many positive ways.
The Accountant General of the Federation, Mr. Ahmed Idris, has said the federal government has shared 619.85 billion naira revenue generated in February 2019 to the 3 tiers of government. The amount showed an increase of about 9.49 billion naira from what was shared in January 2019. Mr. Idris, represented by the Director of Funds, Office of the AGF, Mr. Mohammed Usman, said this at a news conference at the end of the monthly Federation Accounts Allocation Committee FARC meeting in Abuja. Giving a breakdown of the revenue accrued in February, Idris said that the mineral revenue increased by 23.57 billion naira, moving from 326.52 billion naira in January to 350.09 billion naira in February. He said that in February, the Federation crude oil sales increased by 46%, resulting in increased Federation revenue from $425 million in January to $574 million in February.
Crude account as at 27th March 2019 is $183 million.
A paramount traditional ruler in the Southeast and Chairman Security Committee of the Enugu State Council of Traditional Rulers, His Royal Highness Dr. Emmanuel Ugu, the Igwe of Ezeokwe Kingdom, Ibagwa Nike, has commended the Group Managing Director of the NNPC, Dr. Mekanti Baru, on availability of petroleum products in the Southeast. Leading several chiefs of his kingdom on a courtesy visit to the GMD in his office, the Igwe said the Southeast had never enjoyed sale of petroleum products at official regulated prices.
I came by road. It's because I have fuel. If there's fuel scarcity, I won't be here. Even if I came by the air, it's all about using the fuel that is coming from his office.
Others on the entourage to the GMD are Chief Mike Okiro, a former Inspector General of Police, John Fashano, a former Nigerian international football star, and Alhaji Jafaru Bello Dambazao from Kano State.
We know Igwe Emmanuel Ugu as a highly civilized Nigerian. His friendship cuts across the entire country, east, west, north and south. He has friends, and he's making a lot of effort to bring Nigerians together, even at some level.
We just want to build bridges. If people see us as Nigerian elite coming together, relating well, from north, from south, from west, the young ones will realize how to live peacefully.
Responding, the GMD, who is also a chief of the palace, thanks the Igwe for protecting NNPC facilities in his domain. In particular, Dr. Baru mentioned NNPC pipelines in the area which the community had been protecting, while assuring him and his kingdom of NNPC's support.
I also seize the opportunity to thank the Igwe for helping us with some of our pipelines and depots as NNPC.
The Nigerian Gas Company NGC, a subsidiary of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation NNPC, has commissioned and handed over a fully equipped basic health center to a Jomi community in Ethiopia West local government area of Delta State. Speaking at the ceremony, the managing director of NGC, Mr. Babatunde Bakari, who was represented by the company's executive director, asset management, engineer Ibrahim Yusuf, noted that NGC would continue to encourage and appreciate communities that promote peace, dialogue, and understanding in the resolution of issues.
Your valuable contributions and cooperation in the protection of NGC facilities and maintenance of peace and harmony in the state is highly commendable.
The Secretary to the Delta State Government, Honorable Ovie Agas, who was represented by Mr. Najomo Ide, thanked the people of Ijomi community for creating the enabling environment for NGC to build the health facility.
I want to appreciate the management of NNPC and NGC. So I say thank you for providing us the enabling environment for this to be started.
Speaking on behalf of the community, High Chief Frank Edede, who represented the Ovie of Ogara Kingdom, thanked NGC for recognizing and rewarding Ijomi community for the peaceful disposition of its people, noting that the gesture would go a long way in reinforcing good values among the community members.
Thank you very much, Nigerian Gas Company, for fulfilling one of your corporate social responsibilities to this community.
The Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation NNPC, Dr. Mekanti Baru, has pledged to encourage the corporation's workforce to engage in sports to boost their productivity and healthy living condition. Dr. Baru made this pledge while speaking at the ceremonial tee-off of the 2019 NNPC GMD's Pro-Am Golf Tournament at the IBB International Golf and Country Club in Abuja.
Indeed, for NNPC, the development of sports is very high on our agenda because we always believe on a sound mind in a sound body.
Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Dr. Ibeka Chiku, who was represented by the Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, NCDMB, Engineer Simbi Wabote, applauded the NNPC for sustaining the GMD's yearly tourney, stressing that the corporation was now renowned for supporting golf across the country.
It's indeed a great pleasure to see that NNPC is continuing in this spirit. Last year we were here, and this year it is even bigger and better.
On his part, former GMD of NNPC, Dr. Jackson Gas Obaseki, under whose tenure the golf tournament was initiated, applauded the Dr. Baru-led management for reviving and sustaining the GMD's golf tournament.
It only makes me happy because it's not only that it's been sustained, but it's been improved on. And this is what life is all about.
The Chief Operating Officer, Refining and Petrochemicals of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, Engineer Anibo Kraga, has emerged President of African Refiners Association, ARA. He took over as the President of the association during its 2019 Annual General Meeting, AGM, at Cape Town, South Africa. Engineer Kraga brings on board several years of cognate experience in the oil and gas industry.
The Phase 1 of the ongoing recruitment exercise by the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, which kicked off via nationwide advertisement in the national dailies and online media on Wednesday, 13th March 2019, ended midnight Tuesday, 26th March 2019, with the closure of the corporation's application portal. A release in Abuja by the corporation's Group General Manager, Group Public Affairs Division, Ndu Amadu, said the second phase of the exercise involving shortlisting of qualified candidates had started, explaining that the qualified ones among them will be invited to participate in a computer-based aptitude test. Amadu said in the release that tests would be administered in about 50 centers across the country, saying those who emerged successful in the test would subsequently be invited for oral interviews for final selection.
Hello, glad you could join us on the feedback segment of the program. My name is Julia Auta. As part of its corporate social responsibility program and its commitment in touching lives positively, the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, through one of its subsidiary, NPDC, has once again put smiles on the faces of members of Olobo community in Ikogba Oka local government area of Edo State. Today, on this edition, we bring to you their views about the project.
80% of our youths that are working today are engaged by NPDC and NPDC contractors. Most of the elders who still leave home today to do security job are working also with NPDC. Scholarship, most of our children are being engaged, are being given scholarship by NPDC.
Recently, to be proud of NPDC, they engaged about 30-something of our community boys here. They are full-time staff today.
We were able to provide for us 5.0 MVA transformer, which to a large extent has made light here to be stable.
We didn't have lights for about almost 5 months as a result of our MVA transformer that broke down. NPDC make provision for that one, even a bigger one, about 5-point-something MVA.
Well, there is no doubt that the NNPC is living up to its pay-off line, which is, we touch your lives in many positive ways. And that's it on this segment. Please stay with us for the rest of the program. Hello, delighted to have you join us again on yet another informative segment of the program. My name is Faith Ayuba. Did you know that the outlook for Africa's oil and gas industry is positive amid difficult operating and economic headwinds? According to a 2016 USA Geological Survey, there could be at least 41 billion barrels of oil and 319 trillion cubic feet of gas yet to be discovered in sub-Saharan Africa alone. Did you know that between 2008 and 2017, exploratory success in sub-Saharan Africa was at least 45%? Similarly, between 2014 and 2017, there was a decline in exploration spend in the order of 70 to 80% within the African space due to oil price collapse. Did you also know that PricewaterhouseCoopers and Rystad Energy predict a slow and then robust recovery at an average of 18% year-on-year over the next 12 years, with growth coming particularly from East African region? Now you know. Please don't go away as the rest of the program continues.
Hello and welcome to Global Crude Oil Outlook. Oil prices dropped, extending losses into a second consecutive session following a surprise build in U.S. crude inventories. Brent crude oil futures were at $67.56 per barrel, down 27 cents or 0.4% from their last close. Brent closed down 0.2% Wednesday. U.S. West Texas Intermediate WTI crude futures were at $59.09 per barrel, down 32 cents or 0.5% from their last settlement. WTI fell 0.9% Wednesday. Analysts believe that the fall does not derail the short-term bullish argument that both the OPEC Plus production cuts and supply outages will outweigh the global growth concerns and rising U.S. production. U.S. crude inventories rose last week by 2.8 million barrels, compared with analyst expectations for a decrease of 1.2 million barrels, the U.S. Energy Information Administration said. Crude exports fell by 506,000 barrels per day, the EIA said. Offering support for prices, all output from Russia, OPEC's biggest non-member ally, averaged 11.3 million barrels per day so far in March. A source said, compared with 11.34 million barrels per day the previous month. And that's it on this segment of the program. My name is Solomon Yopave.
I am HRH ONJ Singer Kenzwa, the Enogi of Olubutukdom. Keep watching Oil and Gas Forum on NTA Sundays 8 p.m.
No panic to buy fuel for black market. NNPC go bring fuel for all motorists.
NNPC
NNPC say them get fuel jabrata for ground. Saboteur. All of una wey dey thief with fuel and petroleum station wey dey hot smuggle and divert our fuel go neighboring country. Plus people wey dey build small tank and sell fuel pass our government price of 145 naira per litre. Stop am o. Because why? Na big offense now. Na jail straight away. NNPC say our government no increase fuel price, na still 145 naira per litre. So therefore, no buy black market, no do panic buying. Enough fuel dey wey go round. Nigerians, if you see any petrol station where they sell fuel pass our government price of 145 naira per litre, kia report to the nearest security agency when near you or the Department of Petroleum Resources. Na Ndu Ohamado, Group General Manager, Group Public Affairs Division, NNPC, sign this message.
That's been Oil and Gas Forum for this week. Different kind of takeaways this time. We hope you enjoyed it. On behalf of NNPC, have yourself a swell week ahead. Bye now.